Welcome back to another edition of the BIMside Scoop. If you're new to this, the BIMside Scoop is all about getting you content, information, and tools in under 5 minutes. So in this way here, it's quick, it's easy, and you can put them right to use on your projects. Today, we're going to continue on with ceilings, but specifically cove details, where we have one plane here and another one up here, but the one up here on the higher plane does extend past the one below. And I've seen workflows from multiple studios, and a lot of times I've seen team members that they use lines to create and to illustrate that cove, kind of the extent of the ceiling above. And that's great. At the end of the day, it shows you the extent of that and illustrated on your drawings. However, it's not if, it's when your ceilings do move or the designs change. Those lines, those annotation detail lines, model lines, don't move with the new design or the modified ceiling extents. And so today I'm going to give you tools to be able to make sure that you do it once and you're able to kind of pick the edge of that ceiling. So in this way here, as it moves, so do the lines that you've applied to it. So let's jump into this week's BIMside Scoop with using lineworks with your cove ceilings. Okay, so here we go. On my screen, we have the ceiling that we did last week. We're going to pick right back up for there. But what I have done is I've added a cove at the extent of the room. So if you scroll over here, you can see I've added that cove. And if we go to the section of that, you can see that that ceiling above in the higher plane does extends past creating that cove. And what I have seen in previous studios, team members, they use line work tools such as they'll go to the annotate tab and they'll pick detail lines. And as they're drawing these lines, they'll select whatever's best for their studio standards, and that might be hidden. And they'll come over here and start to draw a line that represents that finished face of that bulkhead or the extent of that ceiling, creating the cove. Now, the issue is when we do this workflow and I do select on this ceiling and I go to modify it. So I'm going to edit the boundary and I'm going to change this extent to create a massive cove for this example and go okay. You can see that that line didn't move. So your design might change, but your line work's not moving with it, which is a big issue and room for a lot of errors. And a lot of time having to go back and fix this as well. So there's got to be a workflow that allows you to do this once and then not have to worry about it as your ceilings change. So I'm going to delete that line work and I'm going to go back and create that cove at, we're going to bring this back down to 400 and give that value and go okay. So a tool that I found super useful is to first select the ceiling that's in that lower plane. And then from there, right click, override graphics in element by element, selecting on it and just giving it some sort of transparency. What this is, as long as that you can see past it to be able to pick that edge of that ceiling and hit OK. Now, once that transparency set on that lower plane ceiling, what you can do is now use that line work tool that I've done in a previous BIMside Scoop. And so to refresh yourself, you can go to it and we'll go over this really quickly. But in the Modify tab under View, you'll see that there's the line work tool. This is where it's going to allow us to pick a line style that we want. So I'm going to find Hidden and I'm going to hit on that extent of that finished face of that ceiling above. Once I have that selected, we've got our hidden line. Next, I'm going to select on the ceiling that we made invisible, go back to the override graphics and view by element. And at that point, I'm going to just reset it, hit OK. So then this way here, we still get our beautiful line. When our ceiling does change, so this cove is going to extend from 400 and we're going to input a new value of 650 and I go, okay, you can see now that that line moves with it. And so then this way here, you only have to do this once. As your ceilings change, so do your line works and they're in sync with each other. And this way here, saving you time and error in your drawings. That's a wrap on this week's edition of the BIMside Scoop. Hopefully that this workflow, this tool is going to be useful to you and that you can start applying it to your projects right away, making sure that it's saving you time and less room for errors on your project. If you're hearing this message, it means that you've listened to this new video all the way to the end. And for that, I thank you. Please like and subscribe now to gain access to new Revit content weekly.